Hi everyone, my name is Arush, and I'm on FTC Don't Blink.
I'm Arjun and I'm on team 9794 Wizards.EXE.
And this is going to be our first episode for FTC Files. And just to give a bit of background, since this is our first episode, FTC Files is a community-based learning platform containing various archives of notebooks from different teams that have participated in state and world championships and have even won some awards. The main purpose of FTC Files is to be able to help rookie teams and veteran teams to strengthen their notebook better, be accustomed to the different parts of the notebook, and just general tips and tricks that can help you throughout the season. Today we have Wizards.EXE, and they have been one of our first contributors for FTC Files. So a huge thanks to them, to Arjun and his team. And just one more thing to note about FTC Files is that this community-based platform also supports engineering documentation from real-life companies and applications. So soon we'll be seeing documentation from autonomous organizations to other huge companies such as SpaceX and Google, and this will all be launched on our up-and-coming website. So without further ado, I think we can get started with today's episode. All right. So, hi Arjun. Can you tell me a little bit more about your team and what exactly you do?
So, we're team 9794 Wizards.EXE, and this Ultimate Goal season is going to be our sixth season. It's my personal fifth year doing FTC. In the past, we've won the Inspire Award in the World Championship, as well as we were actually first Global Team USA 2018.
Wow.
So, during today, we're going to be going through the Team USA notebook.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So, I think we can get started with that then. So, do you mind walking us through some of the important parts in your day? How do you structure your daily log and some of the important parts you have with those daily entries itself?
So if you look at our table of contents, which goes over the structure, you'll see that we initially structured it by like our first couple meetings before we broke up into subsystems were just like separate, but then we went into different subsystems. So you could see we had a couple different entries for the windmill, a couple for the blocks, a couple for the solar panel until we were like done prototyping them.
Mhm.
And then we came back for the full robot into just normal entries until we finished it all. So this was a way where we could break up our entries and make it so the judges could look at entry after entry and they all pertained to the same thing.
That's
So
awesome.
now let's look at the first entry here, which is like energy impact game goals and requirements. This is the first meeting we had of the first global season. You'll see that at the top we have the date as well as the time. In our FTC notebook, sometimes we'll put who was there, including our team members and mentors. And then after that, we have this table. This table just gives a really quick overview for what happened during that meeting. So like you can see, we want to prioritize game tasks. This is what happened. And then determine potential strategies. That's what happened. And then you'll see below, we have a far more in-depth strategy analysis, which the judges can read if they're interested in what they see in this table.
Okay.
And then lower down, you can see we have the same type of thing, except we'll put images in, we'll put like pro and con tables, we'll put CAD images, we might walk through what we actually did, and we'll continue using that same template so that it's standardized, like the date, then the time, then the table.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how you structured the entries and like you can clearly see like a proper format for how everything's laid out. That's awesome. So our next question is, can you walk us through how you actually maintain the notebook consistently and how exactly do you document stuff frequently?
Yeah, so during the season, we made sure that during each meeting, we were actually writing the notebook entry while we were working through it. So for some of these, we just wrote this, and like as we're meeting, we're
Hmm.
talking like this is what's inconsistent. As we're discussing it, we would just say this is not consistent. We just write it down. So doing the notebook during the meeting is really useful way, or directly after it. And then make sure that there's one or two people who are in charge just to make sure that no meeting just slips through the cracks and doesn't get an entry.
Yeah, I know that our team is sometimes fallen into that trap of like, just it's just one day, it's just 2 days, we can just let the notebook slide before competition. But yeah, definitely keeping consistent with the notebook seems like it's extremely important. Yep. So our next question is, what do you think are some one or two important things to keep in mind when doing the notebook? And this can be for either all sections or specifically for the daily log.
Yeah. So for notebook, don't talk about stuff that doesn't really matter. So I know in my first year of FTC, some things I think are like straight quotations from the notebook is I screwed this part to the other part. Something like that. Nobody needs to know that. You don't need to write paragraphs upon paragraphs for your notebook. Like putting a couple images and just some bullet points is usually good enough for your notebook. Don't go to You don't need to go too in detail. Maybe just put some dimensions. And then the other thing is again, don't fall behind, because if you fall a month or two behind a notebook, it's going to be very, very hard to catch up. Even a week or two can be very hard to catch up in notebook. So stay punctual when you're doing your notebook.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, and our last question. After seeing the new release and kickoff just recently happening, what tips would you give new teams that might be entering into FTC, or just or tips in general for the notebook?
Uh, so for notebook, don't bite off more than you can chew. Like you don't need to make 100-page, 200-page notebook if you can't do it. And then also, it's worth noting for the ultimate goal season, they haven't put very many restrictions and rules regarding the engineering notebook. It's much more open-ended than previous years. Like a couple of years, last year it was like couldn't be more than 3 inches thick, that type of thing. They don't
Yeah,
have all those rules, so make the notebook fit what your team can do best. You don't need to make it to fit all of the rules.
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Arjun. This has been super insightful, and good luck to the rest of your team. You can follow all of these wonderful people on Twitter and YouTube at Wizards.EXE. You can also follow our team on Instagram and YouTube as well. We're going to be posting all these videos you see here and future videos for FTC Files on YouTube. So definitely check that out. Our website is obviously coming soon, where all these notebooks from these contributors will be uploaded. And we also have a Discord server in case you need extra mentoring or help with either notebook or even other parts of FTC. And the Discord invite link is shown on the screen right now. So if you click that link, it will take you straight to the server invite, and you can ask all the wonderful people there for help if you need it. Thank you so much. This has been the first episode of FTC Files, and it's been great. Again, thank you to Arjun, and we'll see you all later.